Welcome back to the special coverage. We're joined again over the phone by Ambassador Mohamed Orabi, the former Foreign Minister of Egypt. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm not sure if you saw the entire press conference, but it was a relatively short press conference between the Egyptian president and the South Sudanese president. They mainly focused on the crisis in Sudan and how there has to be some sort of way to permanently find a solution for the crisis there. How do you see the joint efforts between both nations, both countries that are neighboring countries to Sudan?
Well, I think it is good for this Sudan crisis, to be a top priority now. All the directions now is concentrating on Gaza. And I am afraid that somebody or some people will relinquish the idea of having some progress in Sudan. So the meeting today between the Egyptian president and South Sudan president, I think, is so important in the right time. We should, pay more attention to the situation in Sudan, and I guess this meeting will be a very good step to put the Sudanese issue on the top of the priority of the international community.
Mr. Ambassador, do you think that this, like you were saying, diversion could increase the chances of further violence within the Sudan region, specifically since everyone's focused right now on what's happening in Gaza? Given the climate and the situation right now, is this going to help get the people back onto the negotiating table, or is it just going to further inflame the situation since no one is quite as focused maybe as the Egyptian or South Sudan side, since we're just neighbors?
We have two forums now, the Gaza forum and the neighboring countries forum. I think we should combine the two forums together to have one influential, I would say, forum for the situation in Sudan. And I think it is the right time now to put the two, let us say, factions together. And in the meantime, we have to give the Sudanese people the right to have their ownership of any coming solution. We will not impose anything on them. And but anyway, I think the whole Arab countries, they should try to focus on Sudan now, and maybe the next summit, Arab summit in Riyadh on the 11th of November, will be a very good opportunity to pave the way for more consultation between the two sides and more negotiation in order to reach a peaceful solution. I think the Sudanese people, they deserve more settlement and more, I would say, peaceful environment. And I think the Arab Summit maybe will be a very good venue to combine all the efforts together and try to produce one peaceful solution for this crisis in Sudan.
Mr. Ambassador, do you think that obviously on a regional level, it will be useful to have a mediation from a number of different countries, but do you think that Egypt and South Sudan will continue to try to mediate the process between both sides, conflicting sides in Sudan? And do you see that there may be, within the near future, there could be a possibility of some sort of permanent solution or at least a long-term ceasefire?
Well, I think Egypt and South Sudan, they are eligible to play an important role, and I think they are acceptable, from both parties in Sudan to try to mediate and facilitate a sort of solution. There is no military action will solve the problem in Sudan. The situation in Sudan will not be solved by this kind of confrontation between the two sides and using their mighty power. I think the only way is to negotiate. The only way is the meetings between the two sides with the auspices of Egypt and South Sudan I think this might produce a very good solution, and it will give the Sudanese people more stability and more progress in their daily life.
Sir, they also, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi spoke about the idea of talks with Nile Basin countries, specifically about the Ethiopian dam. What do you think of the remarks that were given by both sides when it comes to the Ethiopian dam?
Well, the Ethiopian dam is a very important issue, of course. It is an existential, problem for Egypt. I guess the Ethiopian officials, they are not keen to reach any kind of documents to be legal and to adhere with it for the future. I don't see this, and I think we should exert more pressure on them. And this might be, yes, by the Sudan, South Sudan, and some other countries in the Nile Basin. I am afraid to tell you that the African solution is not applicable now. And I think the Ethiopian people or the Ethiopian officials, they should show more a good approach towards this issue. And I think Egypt, practice a very prudent diplomacy so far. And they should know that we should cooperate on not to confront on this issue. But I'm afraid to tell you that the Ethiopian side, they are not keen to discuss anything like this. And I think they are a little bit far from achieving or reaching comprehensive and legal documents in order to govern all this issue.
Yes. Sir, final question here. What do you think of the ideas that they were talking about when it comes to enhancing, cooperation between two countries in many different fields like education?
Well, cooperation is to be, the only way for existence and the only way to live together in the same Nile Basin. And I guess the use of force and the use of trying to dominate the others, I think this will not be the right diplomacy at all. Egypt has its own diplomacy, which is always based on peace and security and development. And I think this is the right way for this, world disorder. And if we will try to impose these three main pillars, I guess this will be for the welfare of the whole world.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador Mohamed Al Orabi, the former Foreign Minister of Egypt, thank you so much for joining us on this special edition, but we're going to end it here.